Welcome to the Sports Investors Daily podcast powered by TakingVegas.com. Good to be with everyone here on Tuesday, April 5th. Lots to speak about. National championship game last night, and it was a good one. It was fun to watch for sure. But now that the college basketball season is over, we look to the NBA and baseball starting up in just a couple of days. So good to be with everyone once again. This is Chris Hodge, and this is the Sports Investors Daily podcast, again, powered by TakingVegas.com. And I'm going to do something different today. I'm going to speak about NBA future championship bets, lines you can get. We'll go over the NBA. About 7 games left here in the regular season, about a week left here in the regular season. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about potential play-in matchups and play-off matchups. But first, let's get started with what happened last night in the national title game between North Carolina and Kansas. And, you know, for as high as North Carolina was, and they still might be because, look, they ended the career of Coach K. They won the last game at Cameron Indoor against him about a month ago. So they have that. And then they ended his career on Saturday night in the Final Four, so they got that. And that's good. For a North Carolina fan, that's good, right? I mean, you guys, before the season started, if we told you you were going to win the last game Coach K coaches at Cameron, you were going to go to the Final Four, and you were going to eliminate Duke in the semifinals, every single North Carolina fan, well, I'll sign up for that, right? So to them, it was, I got to believe, first-year head coach Hubert Davis, I got to believe the North Carolina faithful, Tar Heel Blue, were very happy with what happened this season. But then when you get that close and you're up 16, 38-22 in the national semifinal game or national final game, or it might have been 40-22, you gotta win that game. That's a sting. That's a sting. You know, you can't let that lead go away. You can't let that lead evaporate. All credit to Kansas. Look, they did what a championship team should do. Played a wonderful second half. North Carolina made a lot of mistakes. A lot of the things that went well in the first half, especially late in the first half for North Carolina, they did not do well in the second half. And look, Kansas completes history. I mean, that was the largest comeback in championship history. Kudos to Kansas. And again, if you're a North Carolina fan, I still have to believe just by eliminating Duke, it's a good season. But, man, it's probably very bittersweet for them. But it was a great game, 72-69 final. North Carolina +4. That is the cover last night. Game stays beneath the posted total by about 10 points. And it was a great Final Four. You know, lots of bad basketball, especially offensive basketball, was played in the Big Dance. I mean, you had teams that went on 7, 8, 9-minute scoreless droughts. So sometimes I was watching paint dry. But the North Carolina-Duke game was a great game on Saturday night. Last night's game was a great game. North Carolina-Baylor was a great game. There were a lot of great games. There were a lot of bad games, but there were a lot of great games. And I thought it was a phenomenal tournament. And I think the best team the whole season, or at least the most consistent team all season, was Kansas. A couple ups and downs, but for the most part, they were consistent. And, you know, they got the job done. Yeah, there were some very good basketball teams. Gonzaga's always good. Arizona was good. Baylor was good, but they had some injuries. You know, North Carolina, Duke, obviously. Miami went on a run there. But Kansas was the most consistent team all year. They have some seniors that have been there for 4 or 5. Even one guy's been there for 6 years. You know, so they were an old, experienced team. And good for them to get the championship. Bill Self gets his second title. So kudos to Kansas. It was a great game to watch. And now the college basketball season is over. Very successful college basketball season for us here at TakingVegas.com, Sports Investors Daily. Our big play in the Final Four was Kansas over Villanova. We did not like Villanova in that spot with the injury, and we took advantage of it. All of our customers got a big play on Kansas Saturday night, so we were happy about that. We did not use the game last night. Championship games tend to go either which way, which last night could have. And, you know, you look, UNC, They cover by a point, but if Kansas doesn't turn the ball over there with, 4 or 5 seconds left, and they have to foul them, and Kansas makes a couple free throws, Kansas covers the game. So it was a back-and-forth game there, and not a game we want to be a part of from an investment standpoint. But a great college basketball season. And now it's over. Now we turn to the NBA, and the NBA oftentimes, I guess not oftentimes, almost every time, is forgotten during March. It's really the dog day of the NBA season. It's right after the NBA is a weird season because it starts during football season. Everyone is really, everyone is watching football, college and pro. And obviously the NFL season's a later season now with the extra week. That's pushed back. The Super Bowl happens in the middle of February. And then, once the Super Bowl ends, it's like NBA All-Star Week. It's February break and, things are going on. And then March Madness happens. So the NBA is one of those seasons, just a very weird season. But now, the last week of it and on into the playoffs, yes, baseball begins in a couple days, but no one's really excited about baseball until you get into the middle of summer and you see what teams are doing. So right now it's, front and center, NBA. And it's been a very intriguing season, really good season, back and forth, some really good teams. And we're going to speak about that right now. We'll talk about some teams that I feel are really good long shots to have an opportunity. And notice the language there. Have an opportunity to win an NBA championship. Because when you bet futures and you bet long shots, what you're really doing is you're betting for the opportunity to win an NBA championship. It's hard to predict a team at 25-1 like Denver is going to win an NBA championship or the Bulls at 60-1. That's hard to predict. And when you invest in that, again, you want to get the opportunity, meaning that you get them to the conference championships. When you're down to 4, now you have an opportunity. And we'll talk about what teams have the chance to do that. And starting with, we'll start with the Eastern Conference. I'm just going to go off what the standings are today. Miami is the 1 seed. They have a 2-game lead over Boston. They have a 2.5-game lead over Milwaukee. They have a 2.5-game lead over Philadelphia. The top 4 in the Eastern Conference, man, have been so tight basically all year long. Not like in the West where Phoenix is front and center ahead of everyone. I mean, in the East, it's really, really been a tight situation. But there's something very odd about the Eastern Conference because there's this like elephant in the room that people just really don't know what to do with. And that elephant is the Brooklyn Nets. Because right now, the Brooklyn Nets are the 10th seed in the NBA Eastern Conference. All right? They will play in the play-in. They will most likely play Charlotte. Things could change over the next 4 games, but most likely they play Charlotte. But here's the thing about Brooklyn, which to me, I don't think we've seen or will potentially ever see. Brooklyn is the 10th seed in the NBA Eastern Conference, yet they have the second best odds to win the NBA championship out of the East. Milwaukee is number 1. Milwaukee is 5-1, and I don't dislike that bet. You put $500 on Milwaukee, they win the championship, you get back $2,500. I don't think that's a bad bet at all. They're 5-1. I think Milwaukee, if I'm going to give a prediction, I think they come out of the East. I still believe Milwaukee is the best, most tested team in the Eastern Conference. I'm not sold on Miami. I'm not sold on Boston just yet, especially with the injury to Williams. Philadelphia, I never trust James Harden in the playoffs ever. The guy don't play defense. He doesn't make big shots. Chicago might be a year away. Toronto, not really a threat. Cleveland's a bunch of injuries. Atlanta made it to the conference finals last year, but they've had a down season this year. So, if you look at the teams in the Eastern Conference, I still think Milwaukee has the best shot to come out and get to the finals. And if they get to the finals, you got them at 5-1, which they're not going to be in the NBA Finals, right? They're going to be either a favorite or a slight underdog. So Milwaukee is a bet you might want to look at 5-1. But next is Brooklyn. And think of what Brooklyn would have to do. Brooklyn would have to win a play-in game versus Charlotte. Okay? Current standings right now. They would have to win a play-in game versus Charlotte on the road. Then they would have to win another play-in game versus either Cleveland or Atlanta on the road. Then they would have to go visit Miami because Brooklyn would be the 8th seed. And they would have to go visit Miami, who's the 1 seed. So they have to win 2 play-in games plus be the 8th seed, which means you have the hardest path to an NBA Finals. And yet, despite all of that, Brooklyn is just 7-1 to win an NBA championship. So it's Milwaukee at 5-1. It's Brooklyn at 7-1. So let me give you some of the odds here. Miami, the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference to win the NBA championship, is 11-1. The number 1 seed. Currently, right now, Boston's the number 2 seed. They're 9-1. Already talked about Milwaukee. They're the 3 seed. They're 5-1. Philadelphia is 9-1. They're the 4 seed. And then you just get into craziness. Like Chicago's the 5 seed, and they're 60-1. 60-1. That's insanity. Now, I don't believe they have a very good opportunity to get out of the first round. But for the 4 seed, Philadelphia is 9-1. The 5 seed is 60-1. By the way, Philadelphia is only 3 games better than Chicago. That's a big difference. And then Toronto is the 6th seed also. They're 70-1. And then, Cleveland and Atlanta, forget. I don't think they're going to have, any opportunity. Cavs are 80-1. Atlanta's 100-1. I mean, that's, you could throw $100 on that and hope, but not going to happen. I think if you're going to make a bet to win the NBA championship, especially coming out of the East, I would go with Milwaukee at 5-1. And that's your Eastern Conference rundown. We'll go over to the West, where Phoenix has been front and center, better than everyone. 62-16 regular season, phenomenal regular season, especially a good portion of it was played without Chris Paul. He had an injury. He missed 4 or 5 weeks. The surprise team, Memphis, 55-23, the number 2 seed. Obviously, Golden State is right there. Golden State has had injuries all year. Klay Thompson came back late. Draymond Green was out for a while. Steph Curry is now out. He'll be back for the playoffs, hopefully. So, you have some really, really good basketball teams in the West. Dallas is the 4 seed right now. They're a pain in the neck. Luka gets hot. He can carry a team for God knows how long. Denver's a competitive basketball team. Utah, I never trust, but they're a competitive basketball team. And then you have Minnesota, the Clippers, Pelicans, and Spurs. And again, another elephant in the room, right, that everyone is trying to figure out is the Lakers. And the Lakers are 100-1 to win the NBA championship because they are the current 11 seed, 3 games behind San Antonio. Yes, 2 games in the standings, but they don't have the tiebreaker with San Antonio. So they got to finish a game better. So technically they're 3 games behind with 4 games left. So, but the Lakers are one of those teams, right? People want to believe in them. Rightfully so. Anytime you have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook, you have an opportunity whenever you show up to a gym. The Lakers are one of those teams where if they got into the playoffs, there would be a lot of money bet on them to win the NBA championship. People would take shots. There might be a lot of money bet on them right now at 100-1. And maybe it's not a terrible bet because if they get in, they might have a shot. Now, I don't think they're going to get in, number 1. I don't think they're going to be Phoenix, number 2, because they would be the 8th seed if they win both play-in games, which I don't believe they're going to do. But it's just the Lakers. LeBron, AD, Westbrook, people want to believe in them. From day one, and I said this on a podcast I did way back in August, I did not believe the Lakers were a good basketball team. Now, did I believe in my right mind that they would miss the play-in? Obviously not. I thought they would make the playoffs. I thought they would win a round in the playoffs. And I thought they would run into a team like Phoenix or Golden State, and they would lose in the second round of the playoffs. That's what I thought. Never in my wildest dreams did I think they would miss the play-in. And it's bad business, man. You know, LeBron is having a phenomenal season. The Lakers are the Lakers. It's good when the Lakers make the playoffs. So they're sitting at 31-47. They're 100-1. Now just think about this. They're the current 11th seed. Brooklyn in the East is the current 10th seed. The Lakers are 100-1. Brooklyn's 7-1. Just think about that. Just think about the disparity there. It's crazy. And when you look at this from a sports investment purpose, when you bet on futures, right? Long shots. Again, you're looking for the opportunity. So let me run down the Western Conference opportunities. Phoenix, they are about 3-1, a little bit less than 3-1. There's not much value there to win the NBA title. But I'll tell you where I think there's really good value is this Memphis team. Memphis is 16-1. Now, why I like Memphis so much, they are 20-2 this year without Ja Morant. 20-2. They have a good basketball team. And it takes a team to win in the NBA playoffs and the NBA finals. It takes a team. All right? For as great as those Chicago Bull teams were in the 90s, obviously Jordan and Pippen, Rodman, the last three-peat, but they had role players make big shots. Paxson made big shots. Steve Kerr made big shots. They had role players make big shots. You know, for as great as those Laker teams were, right? Kobe and Shaq. They had Robert Horry make big shots. They had Derek Fisher make big shots. You always have to have, look at the San Antonio Spurs. They had Bruce Bowen, of all people, make big shots. You always have to have those role players that make big shots for you. It just doesn't come down to your stars. And Memphis has role players. They have the star. They have very good players. And then they have role players. And that team could be a pain in the ass to deal with in the NBA playoffs. Now, 16-1, great value. The team that I believe is going to come out of the Western Conference is Golden State. It's almost like that Lakers deal. It's almost like that Nets deal. I just believe in Golden State. I believe when healthy, when Draymond is healthy, when Klay is healthy, when Steph is healthy, I believe when healthy, they are the best team in basketball. I believe that. Now, if one of the three are out, different story. But Steph comes back healthy for the playoffs, I just think they're the best team. I think they present the most problems because they can shoot the hell out of the ball, as Utah learned the other night. Utah was up 17 and decided to give up 6 straight threes to Golden State, and there went that lead. Golden State's a damn good basketball team, and they're experienced. They've been there. They've done that. They've been in every situation. They've won. They've lost. They've come back from 3-1 on the road at OKC. They blew a 3-1 lead. They've been through every situation an NBA team could possibly have been through. That's the most experienced team in the league right now. So I just think if Steph comes back and they're healthy, I'm sitting there. I like Golden State at 7-1. I really do. Golden State's 7-1 to win the championship. I believe whatever team comes out of the Western Conference wins the title this year. But I only believe 3 teams can come out of the Western Conference: Phoenix, Memphis, and Golden State. If you're looking for value, you go Memphis, 16-1. If you're looking for what's probable and most likely possible, you go to Golden State at 7-1. But I like those 2 bets right there. If you go with Golden State 7-1 and Milwaukee at 5-1, I believe that will be your NBA Finals matchup. And if you have both of those, let's say if you put $500 on each, if Milwaukee wins, you would win $2,500 and you would lose $500 on Golden State, net profit of $2,000. If you put $500 on Golden State, you win $3,500, you lose $500 on Milwaukee, net profit of $3,000. I like that. I think those are 2 solid bets right there in terms of investments. And those are the 2 I would certainly look at. So that's going to be the podcast for today as we broke down what happened last night in the national title game. We broke down, NBA future bets, NBA standings. Baseball's coming up. The Masters is this week. Tiger Woods is playing. He is 50-1 to win, and he's going to get action. He's going to get action because it's the same deal. It's like the Brooklyn Nets, the LA Lakers. You want the Golden State Warriors. You want to believe in greatness. People in this country, in this world, are inherently good. I say it all the time. 95% of the people in this world are inherently good. It's the 5% who will fuck with and mess it up for everyone else, right? People want to believe in greatness. Tiger Woods is the best golfer ever. I know some of you might disagree with Nicklaus. Okay, fine. But Tiger Woods is the best golfer ever, and people want to believe he can come back from that horrific car accident and win. They want to put their money on him at 50-1. Hell, I've already gotten 3 text messages today. Hey, man, Tiger's playing. What are the odds? Yeah, that's what he does for golf, and the Masters are happy to have him because the TV ratings are going to go through the roof, especially, heaven forbid, he's in contention on Saturday and Sunday. Everyone's going to be watching that. So we'll break down the Masters field. We'll do that tomorrow, and we'll start getting into baseball. Guys, over at takingvegas.com, If you're on the website right now, you can click on the free pick page. We have free picks there for Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening. And we had some big games available. You can click on the Daily Access Pass. $99 gets you the best bet for tonight. That's over at TakenVegas.com. And we'll show you how to treat sports wagering as a business and an investment, which is Sports Investors Daily, powered by TakenVegas.com. That's what it's all about. So I wish you guys a happy Tuesday, and we'll catch you back here tomorrow on the Sports Investors Daily podcast. Have a great day, everyone.